Yesterday, Ben Shapiro was confronted about being the king of cancel culture in conservative media for, of course, famously firing Candace Owens because she doesn't want to give U.S. tax dollars to Ben Shapiro's favorite foreign country, Israel. And let's just say he wasn't very happy about it.
One of the consequences of this war has been a lot of very high passions on both sides, a lot of angry disagreements. You and your company have been at the centre of a very high-profile one at the moment with Candace Owens, who's now left Daily Wire. Was she fired, or did she leave of her own volition?
I'm not going to speak to this topic, Piers.
At all?
At all.
You can't give me any insight into why she departed?
No hints, no nothing. I'm not going to speak to this.
That's very interesting because both Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring had a whole lot to say about the Steven Crowder Daily Wire beef, and both issued lengthy video responses trying to clear up some of the rumors and some of the misconceptions about what a lot of people believe actually went down.
And it makes me sick to my stomach. I know that my business partner, Jeremy Boring, has made him sick to his stomach as well, because we had always considered Stephen a friend. I was Stephen's first lawyer. I helped negotiate his contract with Fox News, going all the way back. It's got to be at least over a decade. And Stephen and I had always been very friendly. I know Jeremy was even friendlier with...
Oh, well, for a guy who talks for a living, you sure seem awfully quiet now, Ben. What's going on, bro?
Can I ask why?
I mean, you can ask.
No, I'm not. Can I ask why you don't want to say anything?
Again, you can ask.
Look at the smug look. You see, he knows that everybody is talking about the unwritten rule in conservative media now. And like the first rule of Fight Club, you're not supposed to talk about Fight Club. And you're not supposed to acknowledge that there even is an unwritten rule.
I'm only curious because I know what a staunch defender of free speech you are. And it would surprise me if it had been someone's opinions that would make you want to part company with them. However contentious.
I mean, suffice it to say, the only thing I will say is what I've said all along with regard to Candace or with regard to any of our other hosts. I am not in hiring and firing position with the Daily Wire. I'm a co-founder of the Daily Wire. I'm a co-owner of the Daily Wire. I'm not actually in management.
Technically, I don't have the power to fire her, so I told Jeremy Boring to fire her, and so you can't blame me for firing her. Yes, that's obvious, but we'd like you to clarify your company's editorial policies, because it certainly does seem strange that you would fire someone for not wanting to give U.S. tax dollars to your favorite foreign country. Now, if you express those opinions once in corporate conservative mainstream media, you probably won't get fired. You'll get a bunch of phone calls telling you how the business works, and if you do it again, your career's going to be in jeopardy. But where Candace Owens really crossed the line was expressing sadness for the thousands and thousands of innocent Palestinian women, children, and other civilians who have been killed in Gaza recently. That you're not allowed to do in mainstream conservative media. That would be like somebody on MSNBC questioning the validity of Black Lives Matter. Like, it's not going to happen. If it does happen, they're gone. But the neocons are losing control of the narrative, as this debacle with the Daily Wire clearly shows. And now Donald Trump is even expressing concern about what's happened over there in Gaza and continues to happen, urging Israel to finish up their Gaza offensive, warning that global support for Israel is fading. And so, of course, Donald Trump is being called an anti-Semite. I mean, at this point, the Daily Wire will call you an anti-Semite if you disagree with Ben Shapiro about the best flavor of ice cream. This from ABC News. Trump appears to blame Israel for anti-Semitism, says Israel made a very big mistake and is losing a lot of support. You see, as Candace Owens illustrated, you're not allowed to be sad about the innocent casualties over there in Gaza. Otherwise, well, you know what happens.
Often when there is dissent expressed in the United States against policies of the Israeli government, people here are called anti-Semitic. What is your response to that as an Israeli Jew?
Well, it's a trick. We always use it.
Jeremy Boring, the CEO of the Daily Wire and co-founder, Ben Shapiro's best friend, said on a Twitter space the other day that he can't think of a single person who expresses those views who's not an anti-Semite.
The Daily Wire is a publication, right? We publish, we curate. I pay people to speak. I'm not just a platform where everybody can kind of build their own account and say the things that they want to say. I pay people, and I'm not going to pay people to say things that go beyond certain lines of what I believe. Why would I do that?
When asked about Israel's actions in Gaza, that is apparently so contradictory to your own values, you can't name a single person that is not an anti-Semite who would believe that. So it kind of seems
No, that's not fair, Lauren. I can't name a single person who isn't an anti-Semite who does believe that. Isn't the same as saying that I couldn't. Very arguably there is someone out there. I don't know. I'm not like tracking the views of every single person out there.
So he's saying that there's not a single person in conservative media who would express those views, but wouldn't be an anti-Semite. But that doesn't mean that there isn't somebody out there who exists who expresses those views who's not an anti-Semite. There might be one person on planet Earth.
I can't call someone to name right now who I think walks the line.
Do you think I'm anti-Semitic?
I haven't followed exactly what your position on all of this is. So it's a bit of a trick question, obviously.
I don't think it's a trick question.
That's Lauren Chen, by the way, who was hosting this Twitter space, who was heavily courted by Conservative Inc. Very beautiful, intelligent girl. As soon as she started making YouTube videos, they all tried to glom onto her and took her under their wing and welcomed her almost into the inner sanctum of Conservative Inc. She did all the shows with all the big names at some of the big events, Turning Point USA events, but then they did come to realize that she doesn't support Ben Shapiro's favorite foreign country, and so she has been blacklisted too.
The existence of the state of Israel is the single greatest guarantor of my loyalty to the United States, frankly.
There's plenty more to come in this video, so stay tuned. But real quick, subscribe to my channel if you're new here, because obviously you're not going to get information and analysis like this anywhere else. This is how you're supposed to behave when you're a mainstream conservative talk show host or a Republican politician.
And no one has done more for Israel than you, Senator Lindsey Graham. He is a stalwart champion of our alliance, and we have no better friend. So I want to thank you for everything you've been doing over the years.
If you didn't see that this was a video, you would probably think that this was a meme, that this was some meme that somebody made up mocking the Conservative Inc. agenda, but it's real. But it's not just conservatives. There's something bigger going on here that I detail in my new book, which you should order at paperback from Amazon.com or click the link in the description below. Here's Nancy Pelosi breaking it down.
I have said to people when they ask me if this Capitol crumbled to the ground, the one thing that would remain is our commitment to our aid, and I don't even call it aid, our cooperation with Israel. That's fundamental to fundamental.
It doesn't matter if America is completely bankrupt. The government will still find a way to give money to Ben Shapiro's favorite foreign country. What say you, Ben?
They say that I want America to fight wars for Israel. Nope. First of all, Israel can take care of herself.
A few moments later.
If Israel is forced to the wall, the possibility of nuclear exchange is extremely high. That is why it is very important that the United States provide the material aid to Israel and that they also dissuade Hezbollah from getting in.
You've also said that Congress is an Israeli-occupied territory. Now, what do you mean by that?
I said on the McLaughlin Group in response to a question, Jim, they said, do you think that the Congress of the United States will resist this demand for further aid? I said, through a crack I'd heard. I said, no, the Congress of the United States is Israeli-occupied territory. What I meant by that is the most powerful lobby in Washington, which Congress can't stand up to, one of the most powerful, is certainly the pro-Israeli lobby. It has gotten its way in this town year in and year out. And I don't think the automatic votes of the Congress of the United States for $3 and $4 billion worth of aid to Israel are necessarily in the national interest of the United States. And that comment, which is to ridicule the subservience of the Congress of the United States, is perfectly valid.
The first bill that I'm going to bring to this floor in just a little while will be in support of our dear friend Israel, and we're overdue in getting that done.
I mean, how many years have I been telling you who Ben Shapiro really is? 8 years to be exact, since 2016, since he quit Breitbart in order to then launch the Daily Wire, using the Michelle Fields hoax as the publicity stunt. Remember this?
In a Kelly File exclusive, former Breitbart reporter Michelle Fields and Ben Shapiro, the now former Breitbart editor-at-large. He's also the current editor-in-chief of DailyWire.com. Great to see you both. So, Michelle, let me start with you. Why did you resign?
Because Ben Shapiro and I are neocons and Donald Trump's plan to drain the swamp would end our rhino gravy train?
Do you remember this hoax when she claimed that Donald Trump's campaign manager at the time, Corey Lewandowski, tried to throw her to the ground, and then they released security footage and he just lightly grabbed her on the arm to just get her attention, to tell her that she wasn't allowed to bypass the Secret Service barrier? I mean, how much clearer could it be that Ben Shapiro is a phony conservative who is propped up by corporate interests to be the phony king of conservative media when he literally supports same-sex marriage? Oh, you don't believe me? Well, you must be new around here because I always have the receipts. Like this tweet he posted back in 2020, fairly recently, actually. I mean, he was already a huge star back then, where somebody accused him of not supporting same-sex marriage, and he snapped back, replying, "I've been libertarian on same-sex marriage for years before Obergefell, but you couldn't be bothered to Google." I mean, I don't need to spell this out to you, do I? Libertarian means he doesn't care. Obergefell is the legal case that went to the Supreme Court that mandated that Christians automatically start changing the definition of marriage, which I refuse to do. You want to see another interesting receipt? Something else that you'll only see here on my YouTube channel because I broke this story years ago, but in case you missed it, here it is again. This is how much money the Daily Wire has spent boosting Ben Shapiro's Facebook posts over the last 7 years. So when you have a public page, like any public figure, and they post anything, it automatically shadow bans that post. It severely limits the distribution. And then there's a little button next to the post that says, "Oh, boost this post." And then you pay, hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars for one post to then be distributed to everybody who is following a page. So sort of a way, it's a big moneymaker for Facebook. And so after the 2016 election, Facebook made it their policy to be transparent about who is paying what to boost posts on Facebook. And so if you know where to look, you can see that Daily Wire has spent $8.5 million to boost Ben Shapiro's posts, thus making him the most popular, most viral conservative on Facebook because it's artificial. They paid for it. Divide that $8.6 million by 6 years because it goes back to 2018. That's $1.4 million per year. Divide that by 12 months. That gives you $119,000, almost $120,000 a month, every month, month after month after month. Another bizarre can of worms that the Daily Wire opened this week is the CEO, Jeremy Boring, declaring that saying Christ is king can be construed as anti-Semitic, which is interesting timing because this is Holy Week. Sunday is Easter. How is saying Christ is king anti-Semitic, he asks? The same way anything becomes anti-Semitic when it is used for the purpose of expressing anti-Semitism.
But I guess, is it considered anti-Semitism if you are saying it specifically because this is someone who is Jewish who does not believe in Christ?
In other words, is it anti-Semitic if you happen to mention it to somebody who's Jewish?
Well, in what context? If I have a conversation with Ben Shapiro about the divinity of Christ, I might make an argument that Matthew as a gospel tends to elevate the position of Christ as king, whereas, say, the book of John might elevate Christ and his divinity. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to have a conversation with a Jewish person about. But if I don't like a Jewish person, I don't like something that they say, and I say, Christ is king, I might as well add, comma, sucker, exclamation point after it, then yeah, of course I'm doing something that's reprehensible, and I shouldn't use the name of God in that way.
That's very interesting. I mean, what's next? Are certain people going to start claiming that a cross is anti-Semitic? Oh, wait, what's this? It's an article in the London Guardian. Christians must understand that for Jews, the cross is a symbol of oppression. Come on, what are some people going to do next? Claim that Santa Claus is an anti-Semitic symbol too? Oh, wait, what's this? Oh, it's a presentation from the Jewish ADL geared towards public school teachers.
Santa Claus is not considered to be a religious symbol for constitutional purposes. So,
even though certain people sued to try to have it stopped from, being included in arts and crafts time at school.
asking students to draw a picture of something that's not deemed religious is constitutional.
As much as that upsets certain people.
But I'm sure Michelle has a lot to say about why, even though this is technically constitutional, why an assignment like this is nonetheless problematic.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's problematic for kids in public school to draw pictures of Santa Claus or make Christmas ornaments of Santa Claus too. Now, to be clear, of course, it's not all Jews. We don't want to be lumping everybody into one group as a monolith. And the ADL does a terrible job of representing Jews. They're really more of a Gino organization, a Jewish in-name only organization, sort of like Rhino, Republicans in name only. So the ADL is a Gino organization. Get it? But just noticing that they're pushing this agenda will get you called an anti-Semite. And if you dare disagree with it, then of course you're going to get called an anti-Semite.
If they're black, then it's a gang. If they're Italian, it's a mob. But if they're Jewish, it's a coincidence, and you should never speak about it.
And I wanted to use the promo code Christ is King to offer a 10% discount off of it in my shirts at markdice.com. But unfortunately, the discount module doesn't allow that long of a code, even though it's not that long of a code. So the promo code is Christ King at the checkout to save 10% off of anything from markdice.com, including my new Free the January 6th Hostages shirt. Or the new Sorry No Vacancy, Deport Them All shirt, which I'm surprised hasn't been banned yet, the Conspiracy Theorists Are Right shirt, or any of my awesome designs. The code is good from today through tomorrow. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below, enter the promo code Christ King, one word, at the checkout, and check them out.